Welcome to the Bourbon Case Files. I'm Nick, and I'm here with Mike Vaughn visiting us today.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Hey, glad to have you. Glad to have you. You walked all the way up the stairs.
I did.
All right.
2 flights. All right. 1, 2.
Excellent. Well, so today we are sampling Heaven Hill bottled in bond bourbon. And have you had this one?
I have not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So give you a little sample here. Go ahead and pour it.
Very good. What's it called? Heaven Hill?
Heaven Hill.
All right.
So this is a 7-year-old bourbon bottled in bond by the Heaven Hill Distillery.
All right. Give it a taste.
Take a
whiff.
Yeah, I get some vanilla, maybe honey. Cheers.
Cheers. Salut. L'chaim.
Now that's super smooth.
That is smooth.
That
That
is
is definitely smooth.
That is, it almost has like a honey, like almost like coats the your throat. Like I guess that's really good. I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's definitely got a different taste than the last one.
Yes. So
That's amazing to me how different it is.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
We pour it over ice.
Yes. So the Shapiro family owns the Heaven Hill Distillery.
Right.
And when they first started distilling bourbon and putting it out, quickly became the #1 selling bourbon in Kentucky.
Really?
Yes.
It's a hard place to be #1.
I know.
Right.
It was very quick. It was very quick when it happened.
It's like being the best football team in the SEC.
Yeah,
It's hard to do.
it is. It is. And we're not going to talk about who may be the best team currently,
All right, we'll
because
talk
that'll
about-
only make me sad.
Talk about that later. Talk about that later.
Because it's not the Gators, unfortunately.
No, it's not.
But the Gators do have the toughest football schedule this year.
I don't doubt that. I looked at the schedule.
Oh,
Yes.
it is. I think they play 4 teams in the top 10. It is brutal.
All I know is Parents' Weekend is October 3rd, and hotel rooms, like basic hotel rooms, 2 beds, are like $1,500 a night. I mean, it's like, are you kidding? Because they're playing Texas.
Yeah.
So
Number 1 team in the country.
#1 team in the country. But so Parents' Weekend, Texas, amazingly expensive hotel rooms.
I mean, you might be staying in Ocala.
I might be. I might be going up for the day.
You might,
Although
yeah.
that's not ideal.
Listen, you get an Uber driver, drive you up. You go to the game. You get an Uber driver, drive you home. You can still enjoy some bourbon or rum, whatever you prefer. And
That's a great idea.
And it's probably a lot cheaper than whatever that hotel is going to cost you.
The hotels are they're out of control. They're out of control. Out of control. Wasn't so bad. They're just out of control. So anyway.
So Mike, we've had you on before.
Yes.
And thanks for coming back. And today I kind of want to ask you, I know you were in the Coast Guard.
I was.
How'd that happen?
So here's how that happened. So when I graduated high school, I was living in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And I think I graduated at 17, but as a 17-year-old kid, I was living and I was doing high-rise construction. And I was making $4.25 an hour. And so I was a laborer. I mean, just full on, just labor, lugging things. And we would take big poles and 2x4, just everything. And we'd load it onto this makeshift ramp that OSHA would freak out if they saw it today. And then lift it up to the next level and do the whole thing over again. So anyway, I'm sitting there, it's on the beach, and I see the Coast Guard boats go out the inlet, New Smyrna Inlet. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, whatever. And then I would see the Coast Guard guys surfing at the inlet at the end of the day. And they were nice guys or whatever. And I was like, that seems better than this. Going out in a boat all day? What? Yes. Going surfing when you're done? Yes. And so I joined the Coast Guard. I enlisted 1987, August 27th.
How many years did you serve?
So I enlisted. An enlistment is a contract right?
Okay.
So that's a time period. So I enlisted, and then I eventually went to officer candidate school, which is a commission, and that's an appointment by Congress. So those are indefinite. So enlistment or contracts, they are time certain. At the end, commissions are not. They're actually forever until you either resign or retire, or if you mess up, you get booted out. But I joined August 27th, 87, and I retired on June 30th, 2022. Now I did a little break in service for different things, going to do different stuff. So I did have a break in service, and I had about 10 years of active duty, 10 or 12 years of active duty, and the rest was in the reserves. So that way I could do a law career and be in the reserves and get deployed and do all that good stuff too.
So first off, thank you very much for your service.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Now, you did JAG.
Yes. So in the Coast Guard,
Okay.
you are a qualified JAG as an officer if you do all the things, but you're not an exclusive JAG.
Okay.
So the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard, we are line officers. So I would do a JAG billet or a JAG job, and then I would go do a non-regular Coast Guard officer job. And you switch back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Whereas in the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, they have a separate JAG Corps. And you pretty much, for the most part, just stay in doing law. But in the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard, you kind of bounce in and out.
So you got to do a little bit of everything.
I did. You got to get qualified. So I went to Naval Justice School, and I got all my designations and things like that. And we just kind of bounced in it. We call it bouncing in and out of specialty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds very cool.
Well, what the nice thing about it was, on one hand, practicing law, and on the next hand, I'm getting deployed, going to do something fun.
Okay.
Not that law is not fun.
No.
But because it is.
Yeah.
And I love being a lawyer, but I also like going to do crazy, cool stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And they were like, hey, you got to go do this thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
So during your in the Coast Guard, where all were you stationed?
Let's see. I was in Puerto Rico. I was in Maryland. I was in San Francisco for a long time. I was in Miami. I was in Jacksonville. I was in Boston. I was in Miami twice, actually. I was in Colorado Springs. And you're like, what's a Coast Guard guy doing in Colorado Springs?
I mean, there's not a lot of oceans there.
There's no ocean. There's not. There's no ocean in Colorado. U.S. Northcom is there. And U.S. Northcom is the combatant command that oversees a geographical area, which is essentially United States, Canada, and it's essentially it. And so there are reserve units there. And after 9/11, the Coast Guard and all the services got a direction to work interoperably, like jointly. We've always worked jointly, but it wasn't as it is now. We call it purple. And so one of my specialties was I spoke purple. I was able to work with the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and work together with them on things of mutual interest, events of national significance, or IAs, individual augmentation, different things like that, where, post 9/11, they really wanted everyone to work much better together than they did before. So I was at Northcom, Colorado Springs, which was a great tour. But I've been all over. The Coast Guard sent me all over, but those were my duty stations.
And what's your favorite one?
Or San Francisco by far.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great. I was on active duty there. It was great. My kids were born there, or my two oldest kids. It was a great place to live and work at the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how many kids?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
I have a 23-year-old who just graduated UCF. I've got a 20-year-old at UF, and I've got a 14-year-old that just started high school yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, yeah.
So you have one
And I have a stepdaughter, too.
Oh, okay.
Who went to Florida.
Okay.
And she's going to Rollins for grad school.
So you have 1 off your payroll and 3 still on.
Well, yes and no. They're all kind of all on the payroll. You know what I mean? The payroll doesn't seem to go away. The payroll doesn't seem to go away.
Listen, you're ruining it for me. I have 2 young kids. I'm hoping someday they'll be off the payroll. Not the case?
Yeah, not the case. Not the case. I will say this: the two older ones, the stepdaughter and my oldest son, they're out on their own. I mean, they're out on their own. We're not paying the rent.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Good for them. That's wonderful. And as I said, I mean, my kids, like they're younger. They're still there. Seeing your kids grow up and become adults and accept that responsibility. That's got to be pretty amazing.
It is. It is. They're all so different. I mean, all these kids are different, and they all excel at some things, and they all struggle with other things like anybody else. But watching them grow into adults and having, more adult conversations with, somebody used to change their diapers is quite amazing. It really is.
I imagine.
And then you mix the stepdaughter in with that. That's a whole nother dynamic, which is new and cool and fun, and it's there's just a different dynamic. And so you look at her just like you do the other kids. They're all the kids, and they're adults though, but it's quite amazing. But you just look at them all the same, but they're all so different.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, during your Coast Guard career,
yep,
and then post Coast Guard, you've been a trial lawyer.
Yes.
Yes. And so you've done both what's called insurance defense.
I was an insurance defense attorney.
We worked for some big insurance company.
Large ones.
Yes.
Large ones.
Yes. And then you did plaintiff's work as you do now, helping those that are injured.
Advocating for those that can't advocate for themselves.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. And how many trials do you have?
When I came here, I think at 80. Now I haven't even been here a year. We've had 3, so I'm probably between. That was one of my biggest regrets, and that's what I would tell every young attorney to do. Is if you want to be a trial attorney, is count your trials, put them down, make a list. Don't lose the list. I wish I had done that. I really, really, really wish I had done that, where I was able to go back and see every single trial that I've done, because there's trials I've forgotten about.
Oh, of course.
And
of course.
But I'm in the mid 80s, maybe a little more, maybe not, probably not a little less.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at.
I mean, don't worry, we'll get you to the 90s here shortly.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. And a lot of that was doing insurance defense too. I had more trials as a plaintiff's attorney than I do as a defense attorney, but there was quite a few on the defense side.
Listen, I'm sure if there's any defense attorneys that are bourbon fans watching this, I'm going to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
What's harder, plaintiffs or defense?
Well, explain to me like this when I was thinking about switching. First of all, you got to understand, I was an insurance defense attorney because I had this reserve career. And when you're a defense attorney, nobody cares about you. Your clients don't care. The insurance company doesn't. I mean, they like you because you do a good job and all that stuff, but they don't grow. They're not bonded to you. As opposed to when I jumped to the plaintiff side, I was still in the Coast Guard doing the reserve thing, and I was like, oh, do I try to make admiral? Do I, retire as a captain, or do I make admiral? So anyway, I was getting ready to come up on a trial, and then Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas, and so I got called up in 48 hours, and I had a trial starting the next week, and so I had to do an emergency motion to continue, and of course the judge is going to grant it. But I had to call my client and tell my client, hey, listen, I'm really sorry. I just got deployed to do this hurricane response, really bad hurricane, blah, blah, blah. And the client's like, thank you, Mike. I really appreciate your service, but I've been waiting 5 years for this trial. I've been waiting 5 years. I'm like, oh my God, So when I say as a defense attorney, the clients, they don't necessarily care. No client would probably care if I got deployed on the defense side. But on this side, when you're with someone for so many years and you are their lifeline,
yep,
you are the one. They don't want to switch to somebody else.
Yep.
You've got a relationship with them. You've been through their highs. You've been through their lows. You've talked to them when they're crying. You've talked to them when they couldn't get out of bed. You form a bond with these people. So very, very difficult, at least in my mind, to be a plaintiff's attorney with a military reserve career. So going back to which is harder, I think that was your original question.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to defend a case at trial than it is to prosecute or be a plaintiff at trial because you've got the burden.
The burden
Yes.
of proof. Yeah.
It's much more difficult. I would not want to do the defense work again.
Yep.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, 100% a plaintiff's guy now.
100%. Yeah. Ever since I switched, it was 100%. Yeah.
There's no way I could go back. Zach and I have a story, that I'll talk to people about occasionally, and they're asking me because we both started insurance defense just like you, and I can remember resolving a case, and for much less than what the insurance company was willing to pay.
Right.
And it was a serious case, serious injuries, and one I had the problem of I felt bad for the family because they were seriously injured.
Right.
And I knew there was more money, but I had a job to represent my client. And, at the time, I'm a young attorney. I do this job. I save them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And literally I get okay, great. What about this one?
Yeah.
Like there was no thank you.
No.
There was no, you did a great job. There was nothing. It was just, that's it. And doing what we do, clients come in afterwards and they give me a hug.
Yes.
And they say, thank you so much for, and even on cases that we go to trial and we don't get a great result, they are like, thank you for giving me my day in court.
That's right.
Thank you for trying. And they're appreciative. And you develop a relationship with them. And I would never want to go back to doing defense work. I love what I do. I love helping people. And it has changed my life.
There's a human factor involved.
100%.
Right? There's an absolute human factor involved. I remember I tried a case in Jacksonville as a defense attorney, and it was just me. And the plaintiffs, it was a head-on collision. It was really bad collision. And the plaintiff got hit head-on. She went back 90 feet, hit a wall. It was really, really bad. And so I'm defending the case. And I had to do what I had to do for my client. And,
of course.
I did it. Anyway, we won. We won the case. It was a defense verdict. And this girl was hurt. Like, she was hurt. And, 5 times out of 10, it's going to go the other way. But on this particular day, it went the defense way. And I remember sitting in my truck. I had a Tacoma at the time. And I watched the plaintiff walk out. Her attorneys didn't walk her out. She walked out all by herself after losing this trial. The insurance company is going to want to get their fees and costs now. And I remember looking at her going, oh my God, this is terrible. What did I do? What did I do? But I had the reserve career at the same time. I felt awful. I really did. I remember her, and I remember seeing her in the parking lot. And I remember her name. I'm not going to say her name, but I remember it to this day. Yeah. So,
and so as we sit here today, we will never be on the wrong side again.
No, we will not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I am.
Yes. So before we sign off here, Heaven Hill.
I like the Heaven Hill.
You like it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I really do like the Heaven Hill.
I think it's great. It's a very good bourbon, smooth.
And it was number 1.
That's right. That's right. It jumped to be the number 1 selling in Kentucky very quickly when they started producing. So
we went down that path and went down football, and
Well, thank you all for stopping by, checking us out. If you enjoyed the podcast, please follow us, give us a like. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time around. Thank you.